All right, so our next topic was technical tool integration and course migration. As your incumbent vendor, it is not clear to me what you would like me to do with that time, because you will not need to migrate your courses, and you already are able to integrate your tools. So let me know how we can best use this time.
Yeah, Mark, do you have any specific questions for them? He's sort of like the LMS administrator is part of his role.
Okay.
That's sort of the spot, but
yeah. And tell me your name again.
And if you could move a little closer, just because you may speak in the microphone.
Yeah, we've got a snowball here, so a snow globe. Right? I think you're the one that's going to be able to put this in the test.
I'm not really. What was the question again?
Question was, what questions do you have?
Yeah, what questions do you have? About course migration, which you don't have to do with Moodlerooms, or technical tool integration, which you are already doing.
You came to put me on the spot.
Sorry, we can give you some time to think. We can.
So I have an example. We have a nursing class that uses a lot of SCORM packages.
Okay.
And we talked about database size earlier. That particular course, when it's backed up, is almost 4 gigabytes in size.
Okay.
So it's can be pretty large.
Right.
The state requires students, as one of the mandates, to spend a certain amount of hours that has to be tracked in the course.
Okay.
So we created the SCORM packages to track the hours.
Sure.
And realizing, I guess you could say, our mistake after the fact with the size of the class, because it has to be directly imported into Moodlerooms. So our way around that was to attach an LRS to the system, which can be done with through the administration tools, and have that SCORM, all of those SCORM packages and other classes SCORM packages hosted externally, and then have the data still tied to the course directly, either through grades or.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that would then lower the size of the class overall. And we haven't been able to accomplish tying an LRS to our LMS.
Okay.
What is the way to do the tracking internally? You have a plugin tool that you do an accurate, right? Accurate tracking.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we just saw in Intelligent was Battler engagement. So here we see time in courses, time on site. IntelliBoard can actually create reports on any of your data. So if you wanted to create a special report that was only for these programs, these specific courses, because not every single one of your courses has this requirement, or you spend so much time in a class in order for, board certification or whatever it is. We could provide a report that gives you per student in those courses, how much time in class, it can be visualized in different ways, however, suits you.
How does the report actually
so the time in site is based on login. Time on courses is access into the course. There is some, I know that there is a formula for going to the course and then having no navigation movement activity, because you also don't want to give people credit for going to the course, going to get a sandwich and coming back an hour later. They weren't in the course for an hour. So we do have.
Basically, what what the instructors use is a spreadsheet that calculates the data from the user reports. And that's, you know, run on well, they do it twice a semester, I think, quarter, excuse me. And we calculate the amount of time that means that the student has spent in each particular module.
Well, let me, if you don't mind, this technical colleague of mine, even though he's sick, I asked him if he'd be available perhaps today to join in case you have questions that are more technical than me, which you do. So let me see if I can get a hold of him and maybe he could just join our session and speak to us about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to see if he's free.
You know how Microsoft has adopted a new way of pushing updates on Windows 10? They use softs. There is no more like a CU big package where you just go through all the updates at once, but you softly, gradually.
More like continuous
updates.
delivery.
That's one of the issues. Is this one-time big updates that target so many things at once.
Sure.
And just the timing is not right. The criticality of the updates. You're updating so many things at once, and sometimes the release note doesn't have all the updates.
Sure. So we do, as you know, 2 major releases per year in July and then in the winter. And we do 2 cumulative updates in between time. We do try and give plenty of advance notice because, again, our customers are 1 release behind Moodle's releases. This does mean, unfortunately, Moodle times their releases to coincide with semester breaks, whatever, and we're on the opposite one. So when we think of a big semester break in the summer, we're getting their small release, sometimes smaller release, and the small semester break in between terms in the winter, we're usually getting a bigger release. We do try to take that into account, and you can, if your release timing is going to coincide with the biggest day of your finals or something like that, you can reach out to on Behind the Blackboard as an admin and request that we postpone your update for. It's a short amount of time. It's not, you can't say like, I want to postpone it for a month.
Updates happen like 3 days before the start of the program.
Well, Sandbox is updated earlier.
Yeah, Sandbox is updated earlier.
The production one is like 3 days before the start of the program.
The update always calls them are all off contract.
Oh, I see.
And also one of the problems with the update is you can play with it forever in the sandbox. But until you
It's not
start
real until it's real.
rolling for real, like one of the things we ran into, I'm sorry, wasn't the dates issue because we had a master course in dates or start dates like 2012, 2011, and then when they roll those, get it back up, when they restore those in their term courses, we moved those dates up.
Nobody updates the date, the
I
start
see.
date of the master course.
Sure.
And when they release those, they give us enough. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
But that caused us a major disaster because we had lots of courses that were feeding like 2025 based on the start date of the master course. The instructor backed up and restored. It didn't affect imported courses. It was the people who were restoring
Sure.
from the master for special purposes.
Sure.
And then we're also like, how is this happening? And
Yeah.
now I think though, am I understanding right that they are making that start date happen because you're working on a plan to migrate dates from term to term? Is that, why did that happen? I think we need some information on why is the start date important? Why now is Moodlerooms paying attention to the start date when it never did before? And we're wondering if that's an intent to migrate dates from one term to another, like if the master's was set up for October quarter or whatever, August semester, whatever you call it. Then when you migrate that course into January, does that start date then automatically move all those dates forward? Because we've heard that other learning management systems can do that. Is that what that's headed toward, or why did that happen anyway? Why, in other words, we don't have a good answer for a faculty to say,
Sure.
okay, you were inconvenienced by this, but here's
But
why.
it's in the
we're
service
paying
of
for
something
this.
else.
We didn't know that, because now that we know it, that the release notes weren't clear enough.
Sure.
And we should have informed everybody that they better have their start date right in their master course before they do anything with it. If we had known that ahead of time, we would have had very little problem. We would have had only problems with the faculty that did listen to us.
Right.
You know?
Which can't be helped, really. So I know that I know that date management, which is what, for example, in Learn, the ability to change all the dates at one time is called. I know that that's something that's been of interest and that I and my colleagues are pushing for with our product managers. I don't know whether work toward that is the reason that you experienced that difference that was not sufficiently articulated, but I have made a note that that's an example. It's very helpful to me when I can take back not just, we need more detail in release notes. You know, people say, well, what's missing in the release notes, right? That is an important detail that I can share back with our documentation team so that they're very clear about, because it's sometimes, admittedly, even we do a lot of testing internally, but we don't have the real life scale necessarily. We have to automate scale testing and things like that. We don't have the real life use case of the faculty member who doesn't update their course dates and then does try to restore a course. So that's helpful so that we can work to ensure.
Future targeted and smaller updates. It would be probably easy because we will all focus on just on that future and test it.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's an issue, then we'll just work on one.
Yeah.
This last update, we were working in so many different directions, and we still haven't fixed everything yet on our production. The timing is not right. Like I said, so many
Timing, unfortunately,
so many updates.
it's never right because our admittedly higher ed is now year round.
Because how long the update is. If it was
Yeah,
just one
I
feature,
understand.
then it's easy for us to go back to the faculty and say, okay, just this one feature here is not working.
Right,
We're working on fixing it.
right,
But when you have several things
right.
to fix at the same time, and it's the start of the work, it's not easy.
Yeah, absolutely understood. And I'll raise that with the Moodlerooms product management team. It's not clear to me to what extent we can control other than holding back enhancements that people might be waiting for in order to then deliver them more in the cumulative update. It's also very important to us to minimize your downtime. So we want to be sure that we're not overloading things that should be zero downtime and then in some way causing downtime. But we do have really stellar uptime already. I think in the last reported digest, out of the 12 months covered, we only have 3 months that weren't at 100% uptime. And each of those 3 months still surpassed our SLA. So
it's not about the uptime, it's about the functionality. It doesn't matter to me, actually, I'm just telling you from my side.
no. I want to be able to articulate this properly.
It's not your fault because you're not popular. I'm just you're asking me.
Yeah.
It's not as much about how much we do is how much has actually properly worked.
Sure.
When something is broken, it's not actually properly.
Sure.
To me, it's still some type of downside.
Sure. Understood. Yeah. So I'll raise that with our product managers and see if there's any way to, knowing that we have 6 releases a year. I mean, 2 are big, 4 are, smaller. Is there a way to spread the load a little bit more so that we're not asking you to digest so much change at once, knowing that you have things to test and you have a certain window to test them in. And there are unforeseen things that might occur, something that's unique to your environment or something like that.
Let me just give you an example. Like the Google Drive issue that we're having right now. The change the way Google was connected to the system, the new updates, had to go activate an API in Google, register your domain with Google. Just the registration itself, it's 7 days.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so
Okay.
let's say you've done this change, you did the updates on our production, and it will take 4 to 5 days for the Google team to review our registration form. That's 7 days, Google is not working. Google is not working. So that's down time for that.
For that piece. Yeah, yeah, understood. Let me take that as an example to share with them.
And for the points that Sue had mentioned for the start date, the change for the start date was based on the fact that when you're restoring from something, you're restoring from like a previous data,
right.
The start date is in the past, and all the activities are in the past. So the idea behind it was that they will recalculate the difference with the present time and change the dates on your restored course adequately, right?
Yeah, so the way I've seen that work is not that it's a separate process. It's not in the process of restoring, some secondary process is running and changing dates for me, and then when it completes, they're different. Rather, it's you restore, and then there's just happens to be a page where you can, with the click of a button, change all those dates.
Right, but when they're doing these changes, they're probably satisfying one portion of the Moodle community. What about the other Moodle community that want to stay with all? Why don't they just give you the both options? If you want Moodle to calculate the dates for you, it's a checkbox, and the recalculation will happen. And for the others that want to do it manually, they can still do it, right?
Yeah, so date management is not a feature yet that Moodlerooms offers. Are you saying when that's available, provide the option for manual or?
No, something has changed from before this updates. You could just go to your master, right?
Right.
Or whatever course you have, whatever backup you have. When you restore it, you can go manually and change the dates yourself.
Right.
You don't have this option anymore. If your start date of the
I see
course,
what you say.
and the backup was in 2011, and you restored in 2018, the system will calculate that difference and push everything 7 years ahead.
Ah, okay. Now I understand that. Thank you for that.
Which was, when I looked at the tracker, there was a request from the community.
Yeah.
So it's actually satisfying.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
request from
Sure.
Solidity. But what for the community colleges that are doing it in a different way?
Yeah, I understand, and I'll take that back to our product managers. My guess is that there is a reason for it, but I don't know what it is, so. Thank you for that insight.
This last backup was like not good. Yeah, that's our
Your most recent update?
but yeah, it wasn't good. Lots of issues. But historically, the updates have not been bad. This is, other than there was a big change from 1.92
Yes.
with the file system
Yep.
kind of behind the scenes. That caused some issues with like breaking image links and things.
Yeah, that was a challenge because that was a really big change to digest, and it's hard to break it down into something that is smaller.
Yeah, but we were prepared for that. We knew the change that was coming, and so we were able to prepare in advance for it.
Yeah, it sounds like there was a disconnect here. We didn't sufficiently prepare you for this so that you could be ready and perhaps if there was an option to provide more choice, that would have also been a helpful solution.
And while we're on the technical side, I think if I had any complaints about Moodlerooms, because I'm an advocate, I want to stay with this learning management system, I think it's a good thing to stay here. The thing that I think will drive people away or encourages people to leave is that the technical support does not live up to expectations. For example, our dates started goofing up for us, so like, why? You know, so you put in a ticket, and we kind of want an answer. Thank you, we're looking at that, we'll get back to you. I think somehow our level of support to me is right now, I'm not criticizing an individual, this has been consistent like through the years. I'm not talking about just like last year or this year. It seems like it's more of a help desk thing. Oh, thank you for letting us know. And then we tend to get a lot of follow-up questions, even though we provided extensive details. And instead of that person maybe scaling it up to the next level quickly, I would say it probably took us several days to a week to get our answer on why did those dates do that? Because if we could have gotten that answer quickly, we could have sent a note out to all faculty and said, whoa, if you're restoring from a master course, make sure that your start date is changed. This is new, you've never had to do it before. We could have stopped some of the problem, not all of it.
Sure.
And I think our responsiveness on the technical side, I think everybody in the room will kind of agree, is going to want it from the get-go.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, we used to
Yeah,
do
thanks for that.
the Moodle tickets, we don't do them anymore, but we know how it has been. And the whole, like, you can provide the most detailed information, and 99.9% of the time you'll get a message back asking for more information, and it's what we've provided already. And so it's kind of a buying time tactic. We're not, I mean, you know what it is. So.
I would hope it is not intentionally buying time, but, yeah.
If you read between the lines, that tells you that the help desk, the Moodle help desk, is not prepared for this. They don't know what's happening. They themselves need to go and research that information, which is not a great practice. Usually when you do this updates, you need to train your personnel.
Yeah,
Explain
yeah.
what's happening to them so they are able to provide.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we do utilize a tiered support procedure. So you.
Oh, that's our issue. We don't receive 2001st year until we.
Yeah,
go back
and
and
that's
forth.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
So
it's too slow a process for identifying that if the problem
Understood.
tier one can't answer, getting it to the right tier
Yeah.
immediately so we get faster responses, because we
Sure.
truly, it can be a week and we're sitting here dying trying to find our own answers.
right.
You know, when we think that should have been escalated far more quickly and resolved
Sure.
more quickly. Because if you look at our closed tickets, it's, we used to do tickets, but now Tarek
Okay.
has passed that because we reorganized a little bit.
Mhm.
And he's more IT oriented, so, but to us, the tickets are closed, yes, but sometimes tickets are closed just because, well, that's kind of over and done, and we've learned to compensate for that. So, you know, the tickets end up getting closed, that I think it's the response time that needs to be looked at, not the number of closed
Sure.
tickets.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
quickly we get a positive resolution.
A satisfactory
That's an
response.
answer
Yeah.
that we don't like. We want to know what it was that caused our question in the first place.
Yeah.
And because we can communicate with our faculty and explain to them. But right now, we still can't tell our faculty, why did our dates go crazy? That causes a general sense of dissatisfaction.
Understood.
But we can't do anything to abate because we don't know a real logical answer to give them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
thank you for that. That's not the support experience that we want to be providing to you. We do have a couple of avenues for internal escalation, and I want to make those available to you. And I'll share. I don't know if this will be public posted somewhere. So maybe when we're not being recorded, I can share with you the email address that I would suggest that you use for, because you can request escalation. You can say, after, you know, you've tried tier 1 and they're still researching, you could say, put this up the chain. It's time to go. Like, I need an answer. So A, number 1, there's that. B, you can certainly reach out to your account team. We're responsible for making sure that you feel happy, satisfied, you're getting the support that you need and so forth. And if our support team is not communicating with you in a sufficient fashion, then we also have levers internally to press on resolution there, and we want to use those. So make it our problem is what I'm saying. And I know that you've already put in a ticket, and that's already, you've had a pain. Then you had to go to the process of putting in a ticket. That's another pain. But let us then to share that pain with you to get the resolution that you need in the time that you need it. So I want to encourage that. That said, just this year, or within the last year, we have created a new client support organization and gotten a new client chief client officer, and he is investigating exactly this sort of where our internal workflows aren't serving you as well or as quickly as they could be, and how do we make those better. So we are working on that. I know that that's not, it can't, that knowing that can't fix what happened with the last release and that you didn't receive sufficient communication, but we do have a process now for reporting things like this that happen so that we can then evaluate, like, where were all of the friction points that happened in this interaction? Where are the points where we should have escalated and we didn't escalate quickly enough? Those sorts of things. And then we can use those to create best practices that are going to improve your experience in the future. But I want to address that on all those levels. Know that we're working on it internally. I want to get you the support escalation procedure, and I want to encourage you to call on us, because I will scream on your behalf internally and we will get something done. But I don't want bad feeling to simmer because you feel like I put in a ticket and nobody's responded yet. I mean, sometimes the process doesn't work in the way that we would best like, and I apologize for that.
Hear that you recognize it as an internal problem and are working on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's been our frustration with it, because we have reported to other, we don't just go to the ticket, we do go to our account managers and so on, and it just seems like it's kind of dead-ended. So it's very encouraging to hear that you brought somebody on board that is focusing on better support in that area.
Yes.
That is, I would say, is the room agreeing with me that it's our number 1 problem? Is getting adequate support with technical issues.
I think it's fair to ask a few questions on this. Who here communicates outside confidence with platform? Like, besides the ticketing system, who here communicates with, like, the account team or anyone else?
We
used to, we don't really know.
So,
Well,
like,
Stephanie's our associate dean, so she's fairly new, but prior to that, the person prior to her would have contacted the account manager. Both the dean and the associate dean would have been the ones that were doing that. We've had some changes, but that's continued, I think.
Okay.
That we've just gone to the account manager, I believe, and said, hey, we're having some problems. And that has been brought, we have escalated in the past. We haven't just run all amongst ourselves.
good. Yeah, no, we're happy to hear it. And the team is going to be a little bit dynamic. Justin, JC is going to be a really great resource for your team to have a connection to leadership for escalation. So let's say if you have a standard Moodlerooms account manager or ticketing system and something's not going on, we want to make sure that we're here as partners, and that, you know, we can find out on day 2, week 2, a month 2, if something's going on, and we can help out. Because on day 2, or, you know, if it's a step 1, what we consider to be a step 1 situation, maybe it's hour 2. We'll make sure you have our information. I get calls from clients that are like, just put in this step 1 ticket, something's wrong, I'm working on it, I need this now. And I'm like, cool, all hands on deck, I'll go get all the people.
We've had our hands slapped over and over for us, you know, marking severity higher.
Yeah.
Then
It
and
just
we
happens
had
to be-
told no.
That just happened to me yesterday.
Yeah.
And they've been told no, and they backed it down.
Should
And I understand that,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that it's for the end user, so every issue is big and important.
It should be, yeah.
I understand that that's how we think, and that that's not necessarily the reality. But when you don't even get a response to a ticket for 24 hours, like, then you're poking the bear to just try to get any kind of response at all. And that is not atypical.
We can, like, as your advocates, I can escalate it to tier 2 or tier 3 we would call step 1, step 2, step 3 problem. Doesn't mean that step 3 isn't a huge impact, or step 2 isn't a huge impact. But we should play within the bounds of like that system so they can accurately track advantage of things. But it also doesn't mean you're stuck without help until the SLA expires. Like we said, we'll get back to you in 3 days. And you're like, I can't really wait 3 days even though this is a step 3 issue. We can help you with that. Like we need to build a partnership and lines of communication. And a lot of that's on us. We've had a change in account executive. No matter what you guys do, if it's with us.
My question is why now? I mean, like you said, they tried in the past and sent emails about this. Why the partnership has to stop now? Why didn't we stop all the ways in time before when these things was still?
Yeah, I
and
mean,
I'm just new to this.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for less than a year, so.
So
I don't know what you're saying.
Well, historically, when Moodlerooms was separate, we had really good support. And frankly, when Blackboard bought Moodlerooms was when our support declined. It truly had, and that has kind of held at that level. But I am encouraged by you saying that it looks like internally you recognize that as a problem and that you're going to try to address it. Because yes, you can do all these intervening things to help us out. We should be have that. It should be normal business, course of business, that the person who receives that ticket quickly opens it, assesses it, and decides what do we do from here, and analyzes where we go. And I mean, I know even myself, I put in tickets, it's like, I should have known that myself, you know, so, but those aren't the ones. I mean, you can always put tickets in that are kind of silly ones once in a while, but we really try to test drive everything before we turn the ticket in. We don't just say, it doesn't work.
Right.
We sometimes supporting videos and everything. I think we're really trying hard to do our part to make it. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are really looking, because traditionally Blackboard has not had good technical support.
Yeah, it has been recognized that that's an area where we can do better, and that maybe historically we were looking too closely at reporting and the way that we resolve things and so forth, and not so much from the client's perspective. What does it feel like when you put in a ticket, and then, you know, by the time you put in the ticket, you've already tried a bunch of different things. You've already maybe gone into even a forum or something and tried to find an answer. Maybe we're doing it wrong, or we were supposed to do something a little bit different, or there's something different about the way that we're using this feature, and that's causing the issue. So it's well understood, and fortunately, our whole company has a new-ish CEO who's been on for 2 years now, and his mission is really client experience. And it takes time to put those structures into place to evaluate what are we doing now, why do we do it that way, how can we do it better, meeting with our customers and having informational interviews with them about their experiences and so forth. We now have a process that is very supportive of your account team getting that information back into leadership so that we can shape that process to improve client experience. So I'm very heartened by that. I'm sad to hear that you've not been experiencing the support that you deserve. But you know, it's not a characteristic of our respect for you. It is a characteristic of, unfortunately, an organization that, you know, any organization has some inefficiencies that unfortunately manifest somehow. And unfortunately, I think in this case, client experience suffers a little bit, and I think we can do a lot better, and I know we will.
One thing that's kind of been a lingering problem, and that will, for some people, be a deciding factor,
Okay.
You know, with this evaluation, is getting single sign-on to work with people. Tara will probably be able to talk more about that than I can, but they haven't been able to get the single sign-on to work.
So which authentication method are you using?
We are using Azure and Davis. We tried about a quarter ago with the help of Google. I forgot the name of the commissions, but it was a failure when I was from
was a failure on I didn't catch that.
Plugin.
A plugin failure.
So for some reason it worked.
Okay. And it was just, the issue was just left with. There's a
Well,
failure
we
plugin.
left with the hope that this update will fix
Oh, I see, the coming update.
this, which is the one pass, which is the 3.2.
The current update.
Oh, okay, 3.3.
And it didn't.
And 3.3 did not seem to,
But frankly, I didn't have time for those issues. Just to say,
sure.
like,
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's not been long enough maybe to
yeah.
do
Well,
that.
we're still trying to work on the issues that we have in our system. A lot of tickets that get fixed with our help desk. Unfortunately, I don't have time to do this things.
Okay. Well, I made a note on that SSO and we'll inquire with our technical team and see if we can expect that, yes, that did resolve the specific issue. And we can look back at the ticket that you submitted for that.
I received an email from people saying that they implemented the tool to do troubleshooting for SSO,
Oh,
but it didn't say that they updated that plugin or maybe there's something that's.
I'll look into that.
And we have, two people from registration here.
Oh, hey, Registrar.
Really have 10 minutes?
Yes, you should have spoken up sooner.
Well, I just want to know what's new, in grading, mainly because that was in seems to be in the following instructions. So, what's new in grading?
Or getting grades out into the system record, or just through the process.
Just submitting.
Submitting to the ILP.
Okay. So that is beyond my technical depth, and I apologize again. We had arranged for a very technical resource to be here. I was actually supposed to be talking to you about Learn tomorrow, but he wasn't able to make it. So I can take a note to ask him about
What the
changes
updates are, or.
to ILP, but I will say, yeah, if you're using ILP, that itself belongs not to us, but to your SIS vendor. So, we write to the LIS 2.0 standard, they do too, and then it should work then, but in terms of, we kind of control only up to the boundary marker on that integration, and then from there it's pollution.
You could use a colleague for that.
But I'll check and see if there was, were any changes to ILP. In terms of grading workflow, the only thing that I think you will have seen that has changed is, I'm trying to think if there's any. I don't think there was anything in this latest release that, changed the grading experience itself. But if there's an interest in, so you're looking for real-time integration, and you're paying for ILP with your SIS vendor, and it's not working, or it's working, but faculty members need a lot of coaching in order to have it work correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we use a tour for that?
Possibly,
With pictures and everything. It's not on Moodle, it's sent out in an email.
Okay.
they get the details step by step. One thing that did happen with the Alpha block in July was they now no longer can submit grades if they're improperly
Configured.
input. So you can't give somebody a 97 rather than an A. So
I
that
see.
helps, and it's stops and hope, they can't go further.
I get the
Are they doing it through
percentage,
then?
the percentage, there's the percentage there.
Are they doing that through Registrar?
No.
Well,
No.
there's just no way it will go through.
I know that, but they don't seem to know it, and I do look at those reports, and we did, probably 4 or 5 instructors we, why we can't just, when they submit grades, it automatically, why you don't have that?
What you never said is why does it automatically put in grade?
Yeah.
That letter grade.
Convert it to a letter grade.
Do you guys have a common grading scheme?
Yeah, that's
That
probably
across all
the-
courses?
Yes.
Okay, and is that programmed into your colleague? Does
Yeah.
colleague know that schema?
Yeah,
When they populate the grade column, it flips into letter grade, so they have to manually change it to like a number.
And they choose which one they want. Yeah, why was that a choice?
That
I
might
wonder
be
if
it.
there's a way to make that field that accept numbers, like accept them.
It sounds to me like that is, that push into the grade book, it is coming from colleague. And colleague would be the place where you could configure that not be an option. Is that, when it appears in the grade book, it's in letter format and you're saying faculty members will go in and change that from letter to something else?
Populate the ILP column is
Okay,
a letter grade that's.
okay, and that's what's supposed to be there.
But they can change it before they submit.
And you would like them not to be able to change that.
Well,
before
they need
submit.
to be able to change it in case they're like rounding up, the student's on the cusp of the letter grade or something like that. They need to be able to change it, but maybe if that column can accept numbers.
So maybe be able to go from an A to an A plus, but not from an A to an 93.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just,
So it wouldn't accept numeric values, so I doubt that that changed in July, have they been still, they number grades? If you could find me examples, so I could go back to the Google track, really, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's right, it's there, so, but one arrived, one person again, because I was under the impression for July update for the ILP block, that it would not take a number grade, because what the instructor should be doing is using the pull down menu and choosing populate. Then it will populate letter grades. So then at least they realize that the letter grades are what they're supposed to be submitted. But some instructors open it midterm link or the final grade link and they don't populate. They just start, they see the list here and they just start typing numbers in. But I thought that in July, it softened completely. That they could not, it would say, error, submission error, fix it, and then a message comes up. I put the message in that says, here's the format, you're accepted.
this is our block. This is
Yeah,
our feed into Colleague. This submits the middle system we're talking about.
The ILP block is a new piece that's hard to tell you. I mean, it literally takes what's in the grader report and sends it to
Is
the
it like a
student.
new that communicates with
Who's the developer?
we don't have to.
No.
Like
Provide that
who
block.
owns the block is what he's asking.
The block.
Yeah, it's not the ILP block. The ILP block that you're using, who owns it? Like who provides it?
It's a plugin.
Yeah,
But
my,
that way itself.
my question is like, are we building this or is Colleague building this?
Oh, it's just.
Yeah, I think colleague owns it.
The ILP is wrote to you and probably it's a joint.
Yeah, we feed the data to them, but I'm wondering if they own the block, like, then we have to ask them if they can customize the configuration of course, numeric versus letter. We own the block that has enhancement. Okay. Yeah, okay. This may be an enhancement for all of the programs that they want to do. If it's us, then maybe it's an enhancement we want to do. We can go do some research on that, right? If it, like I said, if we own it, then we get a request to have to build it. Makes sense to me. It's like you have this continual lever of like, you go to an institution and like, give our faculty more options. And then you get the other ones like, take away some options, right? And so like, it's this push and pull across all these different things, so finding the right areas and balance those two areas.
I always, why it's not a fit. Like the admin side is not really fits. You always have to go to the.
On the searchable or categorized.
Not all,
Yeah.
not all the users are the same. All the discussions are with people that have, the proper servers have, but on the side where it's posted with them.
I already know what this is. Is this like behind?
It's a list of all.
Plugin.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
This
Yeah,
is like the app store.
yeah, so that's,
No, this is your website.
yeah, that's owned by Illusion.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about this?
Yeah, ILP.
I saw that you were on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But we can, I mean, we can collaborate with Aleutian on these things, and we can certainly
I was just
take it to our
wondering,
partnerships.
This is help.blackboard.com, right? So there's like help for structural students and administration. On the administrative side, it's really not good.
It's not used, the
Yeah,
usability is not like.
I noticed that as well, because,
If I'm an
because
admin and I want to go do something, then it's not really, I have to go
To Moodle.org.
to Moodle.org.
Yeah.
And Moodle.org, majority of tutorials will have to be on the servers. No.
yeah, I understand.
So how am I going to do I'm going to learn to be a good admin, for example, or I'm going to do this task.
Sure. Yeah, I absolutely can relate to that. We do provide documentation to one of the parts of being Moodle.org's largest partner is that we actually write a lot of the documentation that then goes into the Moodle.org website, in addition to contributing code and other things. But that's an area that we're aware that we could do more so that people don't have to go to two sources.
Sometimes I go back here to search for a solution. You have to go to
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah, absolutely.
The training that they send me to is so basic that it's copy paste. You can just go read this. You don't even have to go to pay for that training.
Okay, so was that,
That admin training.
that admin training?
It's exactly copy paste.
Okay, well, that's interesting, okay, great.
We do have one question from online. We used to be able to see a student view of our courses. Will this be available to verify what our students can
Yeah,
access?
you can still do that. So if you go,
More registration questions.
okay, I'll show you very quickly. If you go into your course, in your SNAP course, and then you click on your course administration area, you can switch role 2, and then you can switch to any of the other roles within the course and see it from that perspective.
And even though this is SNAP, it works the same way, and the more theme you go into the upper right-hand corner, just like you did.
Yeah, so you'll still have that capability. That's a great question. More registrar questions that I can punt.
Seem to have an issue. Faculty, when they enter failing grade, we can enter a last day of attendance.
Okay,
We seem to have issue with the way that is completed all the time.
okay, so,
So one of the biggest issues that we see is they put in the failing grade, you get to put in the last day of attendance. They go back in and put in the last day of attendance, it takes out the failing grade. So all we see is a date. There's no.
so is this again with the ILP column? So this sounds to me like an ILP plugin issue where, let me know if I'm articulating this correctly. If folks put in both the grade and the last day of attendance at one time, that will go successfully. If they put in the grade but not the date, then it will go and get rejected. They will try to put in both and then only the date, not the
We
date.
know that they already put in the F.
Oh.
The guys who put in the last date, they're going and try to put in the date. They submit and that deletes the F grade.
Okay, so if they put in the F and not the last day of attendance, they realize, oh, I made a mistake.
Right.
If they go back and they put in F and last day of attendance, is
Then it
that
works.
successful? Okay. Okay, so that tells me, I'm not meaning to push the question off, but that tells me that every communication is a two-field communication. Like it's always gonna overwrite both fields. So that, unfortunately, it's gonna be an education for the faculty kind of issue as opposed to, I'm sorry, as opposed
They get an
to.
email every single quarter with pictures and arrows and everything. I mean, this is an issue all the time.
Understood.
So.
It's unfortunately not, I think it's not something that we can help
So
with because it's part of a block.
Set up that if you put in a failing grade, that date has to be entered before you can submit.
I mean, it can make a computer do anything. So whether it's worth the level of work it would take for that customization and how it would need to be done, given that it's not a plug and maintain by us. That's where the challenge is. It doesn't belong to us, so we would have to.
I was gonna say maybe we can try and add that sentence in there.
Yeah.
The text.
Yeah, you certainly could add additional, warnings or.
You did that. We can try and do that again. Add that sentence.
Perhaps do like a Google experiment to try to confirm, because I don't see their side. So when we do an RFP experiment, I want to see what they see immediately after submit, so that we diagnose where the issues are.
Oh, besides what you just said.
But I can add to that.
We can add the line of text that explain how to do it. Try and get it.
Refer to your email that you deleted and did not read. Was that in there? Please.
I want to keep my job at
I have told people that.
I do it every time when they call. I'm like, did you read your email?
Well,
I believe that. You better go back and find it. Shows you exactly how to do it. And I think some of
These are universal challenges.
They are.
You're not alone.
this is not, learning management is a different part.
I think we have other registration things that like we do that we need to talk about or think we have to figure out.
I don't know.
Like the cross-listing,
Yeah,
uncross-listing.
those are problems from Howard. Howard is not,
Okay.
for some reason, not updated those names properly. That's why we have to. We checked with Howard. Solution we opened, I took everything, and they said that there is no solution other than.
So just keep manually working.
That way we get to email each other.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
one of the things I think with the LMS or with like college system and stuff, I think the college needs to really look at some of the customizations that might be possible and get information on costs and everything, and maybe take that leap if it's going to save, and, hours spent.
It's a good question. So, Dark, I want to go back to something you mentioned as well. It's like, why now? Why do I want to be part of now? Well, I've never worked with you guys, so I'm not sure what we've done before from my level or any other level, but I want to foster those lines of communication now. It's a good, it's within my own control. Like, I'm going to do a good job for it. Secondly, what has that partnership been like around development, or like, were you guys ever developing your skills to like understand the system really well, or work with faculty on their development standpoint? Do we have a trainer out? Do you guys attend moves? Do we have we had anybody from our team like do adoption seminars? Those are some of the ideas that we've done in different places, but I want to gain an understanding of like how you guys are investing time and energy into this kind of stuff, right? Does that make sense? And this is probably cross-functional, like it's different for the instructional designers, it's different for the admins, it's different for leadership. Has it been kind of like vendor partner in the night where like you go to our site and get stuff and we send you a contract, or has it been like, hey, this is how we want to think about training new faculty, and this is the needs of ours, we develop our admins, the things they want to learn, here's the customizations we can do in the system. The reason I ask is one of the common challenges is, let's say this system does 100 things and you use like 15 or 20 of them all the time, but there's another 15 or 20 that are great value, and you guys just don't know, and we don't know, you don't know, we don't know that we should come train you, or that you guys want to like be a better admin or do something advanced, or we got to be there. And we'll never get beyond 15 unless we know those things. So now kind of a list of how you guys are doing that, and maybe we get an idea of how we can propose something better.
In the past, we pretty much look at the research and see what's coming. And like the personalized learning designer here, I've watched the little quick things on it, but I did not know how robust it was. We used it in Angel, we kind of lost it, and then really gone back to it, back to use it.
Yeah, it's not identical to the agents, but it's very similar.
And I would say that when we were forced to do our evaluation on the learning management system, I was tasked with Moodlerooms. Each one of the designers has a different learning management system. I had looked at the plugin manager server, didn't know some of that stuff was there, stumbled into H5P, which I'm like, gosh,
So
we've
cool.
been using this forever, and now we've got, our task is to educate people on it, but, I think that mainly we've just mainly gotten release notes and Google Docs and not really had a lot of interaction people with people. It's just more like documentation to us.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I don't think we've had anyone come on site to do any personalized training
So
from
we
the.
get the emails about the Moodlerooms.
Yeah, yeah, so every 2 months there are moves.
You guys
For our
have the
customers.
booths, so the community gatherings.
The,
The physics, but I'm very new, but it's the webinar.
Maybe a
Yeah, the
webinar.
territory
webinars,
webinars.
oh, and here's our problem, which will be soon resolved. We're in quarters and your booths are always from our quarters cards.
Yeah.
And there's no way we can go to the booth
Yeah, that makes sense.
physically because of the timing.
Yeah.
The semesters, that would be a different situation.
Sure.
But I would say if we're lacking on anything, it would be just regular interaction when somebody say, hey, did you know we've got this coming, or, hey, we maybe like to come out and do a presentation on the 3 new great things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A bit of history too. Historically, we were all titled instructional designers, but we weren't really instructional designers. We were more,
We're supposed to be,
Your
but
faculty support.
yes,
we
Yeah.
get bogged
Very common
down.
problem.
right. So now we're trying to make this shift to be truly instructional designers where we work with our content experts and build courses for instructors. In the past, they incentivized faculty and gave them a stipend to build their own courses. And so.
Wild West, of course, design.
Well, and de-incentivizes the use of your centralized expertise.
Right. So we're trying to move away from that. And so I would say that a lot of we haven't really been able to be instructional designers for our faculty in the true sense of instructional design.
Sure.
And so that means that we probably haven't even on our own demanded so much as we could have based on the
Sure.
fact that we're basically support.
Yeah.
How do I do my quiz settings again? This quiz isn't showing up. What happened here? And that we were more troubleshooters, and we still kind of are that, but we're trying to move away from that.
Talk about using 10% of the potential of something. You guys have the potential to really bring a lot there and spend 80% of your time doing access problems and turn this on and off.
But it's challenging because I don't know how or when we'll get away from that. I don't know how or when we'll get away from, we used to have an assistant position that would do some of the, oh, you need this backup, okay, I'll get that restored, or you need this test bank, the lower level things.
Yeah.
And we don't have that now. So all of the troubleshooting, all of the lower level things that bog you down every day. And unfortunately, those are all like, I need now things that take precedence over,
Wouldn't it be
oh,
great?
you wanna go through and let's set up the PLT, or, well, I'm kind of curious about this, instead of being able to jump and help those people with those types of projects, we're so bogged down with the other things.
Sure.
And
You're like not ahead of the wave, you just keep getting buffeted by it.
We help a lot of institutions do this. So I sat down, I've done it 15 times. I sit down with a group of people focused on technology education or distance or IDs. And they're like, that's why I knew the answer to this question before you guys started talking. This is really common, that this stuff just gets pushed your way. So you can solve it internally. We'd be happy to share teams that have done this. You can solve it with a partner. We do this, but a lot of people don't know, but it's largely becoming the majority of our company. It's not technology. It is service. So we do 6 or 8 million inbound service calls a year for institutions. I might have a long question about that. Where we do this stuff. So I've taken our partnership in places where we'll be tier 1 faculty support. And maybe you guys are tier 2, because tier 2 is higher skill and they need your help, and you have a personal knowledge institution. But now you're not taking like 30 phone calls a day of, how do I do a test? And this disappeared. Will you help me with this? And this one student has a complaint. And then you get to go IDs and you focus on the mission of improving teaching and learning and getting really cool things. And course quality comes out and student experience comes up. And it's not terribly expensive. It's actually a really good investment. So if you guys want to do that, that's outside the realm of an LMS. I could share partners that have done that internally, built that competency internally. And I can also share partners that we don't do that. But that's really good thing to do, and it's really tough to like focus on this other stuff until you check that box because you just can't. And that's everywhere. Like I've done that in Texas, I've done that in the West. People just have that problem.
Yeah, and we used to do the student support with the LMS also, and so the IT help has taken the student support over. The instructor support. So.
Yeah. Do you guys staff your own IT help desk?
Yeah,
8 to 5, Monday to Friday?
I don't know.
the specific hours, but there's a set amount of
Like business
hours.
hours,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So, and then you staff it with student workers primarily?
Some.
I just got assigned one for the first time.
So just you and one other person do all help, tier 1 help desk for students?
You reset all
Not
the
tier
passwords.
one.
Yeah,
There's,
that's, I've been.
Do you sleep?
That's
Do you sleep ever? Okay.
But they decided to assign 2 part-time students to help. When this change happened, it happened all of a sudden for all of us, so it cannot change our, I'm the shut up.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
Moodle. But Moodle got assigned to me with the hope that the help desk would pick up some of the low-level stuff he used to do, but then it didn't work out that way. Help desk is not difficult. It was bomb a lot of issues the last several months. So, and it's
We're still in the first year.
Yeah.
There'll be some transitional.
But if you guys, we do one stop down. So like we'll take an institution where like we want a consistent one stop experience where a student picks up a phone, they get whatever they need 24/7, records, accounts, financial aid, help desk, whatever. Like that's top down. And then we go all the way down to like we can just take nights and weekends calls for us so the car can sleep every now and then. And he can log off at 5 and then overnight students get help with whatever. And we're like, yeah, that's super low level, just supplement a couple people, or we'll do mixed staffing where like you'll put 5 people in a room for help desk, whatever, and they're tier 2. We do tier 1 and triage one transfer during the day and take it during the night. Completely up to you guys. So if that's challenges, we'd love to help there. It's not fairly expensive.
is it the same help desk that you have?
We have distributed call centers. We do this globally. It's not. If you think
I get
like,
what you're asking.
yeah, it's not the people that do. It's not people that do your Moodle tickets. These are people that are. Yeah, that's a good question. I think on these, we have a call center full of master's degree people that do coaching because it's really high skill. It's very high touch. It's live coaching, success enrollment. We have people that are middle tier that do like, hey, where's my financial aid package? What's next step? We have really low tier that are like, we reset my password, which is like 60% of everybody's volume. And we have people that are very technical. They're probably not good people that manage behind the scenes technical tickets. And you have to understand that for each of these tasks, it's the right person and the right job, the right skill. So I get the pain behind like, please don't put these people on unhappy in the middle in front of my students. There we segment groups by the tasks that need it.
Our aim is to improve the customer experience to match what we provide in other areas as well, from a support perspective.
Yeah, they don't know it's us. I can give you 10 schools right now. You call them, answer the phone within 10 to 30 seconds, and most of the rest of these are 60, 90 seconds, but we only beat those. So in less than 30 seconds, we answer the phone. It's Southeast Community College. They think it's you. They use your ticketing system. Really pretty happy clients on that side. So we do it globally.
I know what you're talking about. I worked in a company that does that on the East Coast, the managed services.
Yeah. We have call centers in Texas and South Carolina. We have some international call centers that do overnight or a lot of our global clients. So we don't have to keep people up through the night like a big shift. So.
Really, this could be manageable if, like I said, the updates for us are small updates, not large updates.
Yeah, you're still going to have people, like, you're still going to get 70% of password resets.
We also want to password reset.
You guys have an automated. That's good.
Oh, that's good.
Most of a lot of issues that we have in Moodle issues.
Yeah.
This is working.
Yeah.
This has changed. This way, it became this way. Those are the issues with that. So for me, as in admin or the help desk, technical person helping the students or instructors, if these updates were small and gradual and maybe future targeted, they'll be continued. I can work just on that future. But from this last update, I don't even know if we fixed everything. We don't know yet.
It's a little too much, yeah.
People are still getting into their courses. They're still discovering what's not working. They still reporting things. We have to test them. They test them. They tell me. I go test them. I send to your help desk. They back and forth. Send to the level 2, which is in England, or I don't know where. Somebody goes, oh, it's not in my timeline. Only let somebody else from your timeline to pick up this.
Yeah.
So if it was just one feature that they updated at the time, and even if the updates are weak, it's still, I know that's a feature, I can, it's just that one, I can monitor it with the instructors and students, I can report it. On your end, it's one feature. If it's down, you focus on it, you fix it, and go to the next.
Yeah, I'll take that back. I'll be with our product line manager from Moodlerooms in the next couple of weeks, and I'll share that with them. And I don't know that there aren't reasons that have prevented us from doing that before, but I'll reiterate that moving towards what feels like more of a continuous delivery cadence would actually feel better.
It was a decision before this with another vendor, and that's was their selling.
Oh, yeah.
Is they don't have any of the downtime. It's small updates. To me, that's like,
You'll see that tomorrow. So
let's
that,
continue.
yeah, so that's a
I'm
design
talking
philosophy.
to you from admin perspective.
Yeah, it's a design philosophy we've taken on Blackboard, right? I know that us participating in an open source community, maybe you're just doing this in different ways. If you do it tomorrow, how we do that and learn. Now, for our SaaS product, we do continuous delivery. We do it every month. There's smaller updates. It was more of a force push kind of mentality. And so you'll see a little bit different philosophy. And I hear half the people are like, that's what we need. And then the other half, like, that will ruin my life.
Yeah.
And so, like, you move for institutions and they're like, it's all about how you guys are managing change, right? And so, like, how we, if it's larger chunks, like, do that update on your screen, maybe it's a smaller chunk or larger chunk. It's how we partner to ensure that we're communicating earlier, a better testing process in place, and that you're more prepared. Like, I work with Arizona State University, one of the, probably the largest public four-year institution in the country, I think officially now. I know they have breakfast. We talk every week, and their testing process is as deep as it can get. Like, the moment they want pre-release notes, they want release notes, they want meetings, they have their own testing process, they want our testing process, we have pre-go live meetings. They're a very big school at a very different scale, but the point is, like, one end of the spectrum is let's, as partners, get really serious about being ahead of change, because they're on this twice-a-year change process, right? Which is a lot of change. No, I completely agree. Yeah. So, like, we have for-profits to get larger than ASU, but ASU is big and complex and hairy, and I think you relate to it. And then on the other end, you have a really small school that's like, nobody cares. You guys are probably more towards one end than the other. You're probably more towards the large end. But we have to, like, build that process because it's different everywhere we go. And you understand when and how you want to test, how we can get early, how we can, like, do our testing as your testing. And if we build that stuff, then your next big change is not a big change. ASU is not a big change. Like, we go into a go live and I'm like, you stand up tonight? He's like, no, the guy running the thing is, but I feel pretty sure because we ran this test and we know this, got the mitigation in place where we would do it. Yeah. We should. We're like, it takes us both. Absolutely should. I hate being a vendor. I hate sending you a contract once a year and you guys read our release notes, and that's our relationship. That's the absolute worst because we can't be great for you and you guys can't get from us what you need. So if you guys are committed, you're like, that's what we need, we want. We're all in. Absolutely all in on that. Some schools tell me, no thanks, I need a vendor. Like, it's not a big deal to me. This is an important system. We don't have a lot of online. Schools are online is important, and this technology, like, lives and breathes your students. You should be partners. Absolutely partners. I'm new. I haven't been working with you guys for more than like 60 seconds. It feels like.
On YouTube. Oh, she's new.
Yeah, but if you get, like, wish this was better. I want somebody that knows me to be a partner. Actually, we can get done stuff. We're ready. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for sharing with us your experience and the things that we can do to help. And in those areas where maybe it's not possible to have really, weekly, monthly releases or whatever with Moodlerooms, just because of the realities that our developers face. I want to be able to still provide you with more relief than you have experienced so far. And we can get better on documentation. We can get better on these other things. It has been very helpful to hear specific examples so that I can take those back and say, this was an area where we should have provided more specific documentation that was a little more prescriptive about this could be an issue for you. Here's what we recommend you communicate to faculty, or here's how you can avoid that and mitigate them.
With the documentation in our sales meeting we had last week, they specifically brought up the fact that it's been lacking a lot of those release notes. And so you're going to see a cadence or a change in those release notes over the next couple of months when we do these updates. So they do know that they're missing between Learn, Moodlerooms, all the different aspects. They're not cohesive. And it just depends on who's writing them, on what they look like, what information's in them. And so they are going to have a standard format that's easy to understand what the information is. They're going to be categorizing the different types of information within the release. So you'll see a better cadence of what those are going to look like for you guys and be very similar on the look and the feel and what information is provided.
I mean, ultimately, every technology company, every higher ed institution has challenges in the work that we do, but we never stop working to be better. And that's because we want to live up to what you need, because that's the way that we serve students. That's the way we serve education globally. So you've definitely identified areas where we internally are already working, but please know that we are very dedicated to these things, and we don't gloss over the fact that there's room for improvement always.
We made 25 acquisitions in 10 years. Moodlerooms was one of them. And so we kind of slowed that down, stopped that. But at the end of that period, what you ended up with was like not consistency. It's 25 acquisitions. So like 25 ticketing systems, product teams, and sales people and help desk and support that we had to like work on and incorporate. And our new CEO has made a huge push for this. So like we've unified help desk, and like it all reports to the same senior vice president. Really, really client facing, and we're actually works with and has a dotted line to the chief client officer. We have a unified product development team, so we're using the same technology, architecture, roadmap planning, so things start to talk to each other better, they look the same. We have similar design teams, so the team actually doing our UI, make it a little bit feel, comes out of a single place now. So although there's a little bit different flavor stuff, start to get a better expectation. And I don't think during rapid acquisition mode where we bought 25 companies in 10 years, we did a really good job. We were just like, what do we buy next? Who do we buy next? What's good? Should we go buy that? And then that kind of settled down. We got a new CEO, and we're like laser focused on being excellent customer service. So it takes time, proofs in the pudding. Hopefully you see it. We're making some really strong investments there, but that's probably why I felt that way for a while. Like you guys bought Moodlerooms, and it was good, then it sucked. I don't really know where it's at now. Is it getting better? Yeah, I mean, for a while, I think the strategy, I wasn't here, the strategy is like, who else is good? Let's buy everything.
Yeah, we were all ready to roll out Angel. We all the training, we had they got live. I remember the day the email came across my desk.
Did you cry a little bit? I cried a little bit.
Well, the computer did survive.
Yeah, we had just gone through a regional training that we launched.
It may be heartening. It may be heartening to you to know that our chief product officer is an angel, and the product line manager for Moodlerooms is ex-angel, and the product line manager for Learn is ex-angel. And so we still have that like angel DNA in our company, and it's risen to the leadership level. So I absolutely hear you on the pain. When I came into the company, I was mentored by angels first, solutions engineer. So many times I'd ask her questions as I was learning our different LMSs. Can it do this, or can it do that, or how would I do that? And she would say, well, in Angel, you could always do blah, blah, blah. So I have such a fond place in my heart for a system that I never used, because the people that were there had a very positive customer orientation. That is starting to pervasively seep across our company. It takes time for a culture to change. But that acquisitive phase was not even last CEO, was 2 CEOs ago. And I saw some indication that our turnover in terms of like having new blood in the company is something like since 2013, something like 80% of our company is different people. So if you think about that phase, yeah, from growth. But during that phase, we have the same name and we have some of the same products, but the company is ever evolving, and I hope that you'll see that continue. But yeah.
No transition. I want to go a whole different direction.
Yes, let's do.
Okay. If we stay with Moodlerooms,
Yes.
we're currently in the more thing which we're going to leave, but we were thinking in terms of an incrementally introduced and then rolling into Snap in increments. What do you think?
Well,
should we just jump to Snap and forget it?
I think you should just jump to Snap. I want to understand why Boost would be an intermediary. Like what benefit would there
I
be?
don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't. I mean, this is what we were thinking. Like,
Yeah.
you know, maybe it won't be such a shock value to the fact, because you can still set Boost up to kind of show the blocks if you want. You know, I mean, you can kind of make it
A little more.
more-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
I think this is cool. I'd like to jump there. You don't think that that's a problem to make that kind of a leap?
Absolutely not.
I mean, it won't be a problem for
Not from a usability or design standpoint. I would be concerned if you guys felt that Snap was bleeding edge. And I always caution schools that unless you're an institution, your mindset, your leadership, or like you want to be bleeding edge, put us on the newest, you don't want people there. Snap is not, it's pretty proven, like it's vetted, it's not new.
It's not new, because see,
It's
the
not brand new.
first Snap,
Yeah, right.
and actually, this is
Not
the
bleeding
first look I've really had at it lately. But the first Snap was kind of like,
I don't scare very easily, and the first Snap, I was like,
she's
there's
right, brain.
no way. I mean,
It was like a Prezi presentation. It just kind of went all over, and you're like, what? This seems to be a little structured.
Yeah, we've had time to incorporate user feedback. Really with Snap, our purpose was how can we make Moodle more accessible? How can we make it responsive? And we wanted it to look beautiful and modern, of course, but we also need to honor the not just those mandates for accessibility and responsiveness and instructional design best practices, but we also need to provide a user experience that has the appropriate level of customization for folks so that they feel like they can put their stamp a little bit on their courses, but without having the free-for-all that you might have if you really gave folks, you do any old thing you want. So we're trying to really walk that balance line between giving lots of opportunity to make really flexible courses and have support very diverse pedagogies, but also make an experience that for students doesn't feel like going into one course is a Chinese restaurant and then going into another course is like a Walmart supercenter. Like it really should feel like this course, it has different contents, it might even have different topics, titles, maybe it's organized, this says week 1, week 2, etc. This one says polynomials and whatever, but I know where things belong, I know how to find what I need, I know how to engage with these, and I can engage with them in my mobile devices, offline, mobile browser with the app or whatever. We really are trying to make it so that we're serving everybody in the way that they most need, but also building in those best practices that are inclusive and don't leave anybody out.
You talk generically about the mobile app.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in general
Yeah.
observations.
Are you guys using,
Educators.
well.
No one's been told anything, so everybody's using whatever they feel like.
Okay,
So
so,
we're not, students are finding it and using
Sure.
it, but I don't think that we're adequately supporting them. So
Okay.
that way, or promoting it.
yeah, so there's a Moodle org app. Moodlerooms has, skinned it a little bit and made it look a little more Moodleroomsy, but has similar features. Moodle org also offers the Moodle desktop, which is the app, but for your desktop or for your Surface tablet. And it also has that offline capability. So if we want to go, here I'm looking at all my different courses. If I want to look at course overview, I can click into that outdoor course we've been spending time in all day. You'll see that table of contents is over here on the left still. If I go into the area we were working on, linear inequalities, notice that I have, I scroll and it looks just, not exactly like what we saw, but it looks very similar to what we saw. And everything is here. So there are very few things that you couldn't do with the app that you could do within the browser. But notice here that I also have the ability to download items. So all the little clouds are places where I can download resources so that they're available to me offline. As I mentioned before, I could submit to an assignment or take a quiz or whatever. The icons here are maybe one of the differences between the web experience of Snap and the desktop experience. So that's something that, is one difference. The offline capability is another difference. But yeah, we want to make it possible for folks to use their devices in the way that makes sense for them. So responsive design makes a lot of sense because then you have a real thing that's just on your phone or your tablet. With the apps, it makes sense to develop these because it allows the offline capability. It also allows things like push notifications, which your mobile browser can't necessarily do. So those are, again, we're trying to not tell people this is your only path to get to your course, rather to say you can access it however makes sense for you. And we can help you if it's of value for us to help you socialize this on campus. How do you advertise, hey, there's a Moodle app, did you know that? And you could even use it offline. We can help you with that. That's something that we're happy to do, especially with our client engagement team. So you let us know if that's of value. It's kind of a piecemeal approach, it sounds like, to supporting it right now.
As a group, be better educated, like what should we recommend to this person?
Yeah.
Which use? So we need to understand it first, and then I do think that we do need to market because I think some students really don't know, and I think some faculty are down on using the app because you need to be in front of a computer. We've always kind of culturally said to actually do your course, you should be in front of a computer. I mean, in the past, that was kind of that way, but that's changed.
Yes.
And I think we're kind of behind on being confident with helping people with Google apps and,
Yeah.
how to help students choose and how to promote it so that students use it correctly and effectively.
Yeah, and it
Here's
could
what we
be,
recommend for you to use it with your app, but really you ought to use this with a computer,
Right.
yeah. So I think it's certainly the case that, I feel like students probably will try to get on Moodle on their phone. They'll figure out that they can't.
Download our app.
Well, yeah, they just do it.
Yeah. But, something you could do would be communicate on your site homepage, just a little announcement. Hey, did you know you can access your Moodlerooms courses just using your mobile browser? If you like to get push notifications or you'd like to interact with content offline, go here to the App Store and download the Moodle app. Go here to the Mac Store and get the desktop offline tool.
See, and I don't think we could write that whole piece right now because we don't know about those details.
What institution participates in mobile strategy? It's probably not centralized, it's just kind of part of our careers.
Yeah.
Is it part of your strategic plan? Probably under accessibility.
Institutionally, I don't think
Or
there's
access. Okay. So,
I know moving forward with the LMS, mobility is like one of our key concerns.
So we get one.
in virtual learning, yeah.
Yeah.
But institutionally, I don't think they.
Yeah, and I understand that your goal is to take more programs offline.
Or
and grow
technology
that.
enhanced, so they
Or,
can
or
be
enhance with
facilitated.
technology for distance.
Bro, I think you
Bro.
should take offline.
Oh, no, I mean,
Remove, and that's why
no,
I
no,
gave
no,
you a face.
I
for
meant-
it. What?
no, I meant, take more of your programs that are right now have mostly
Face-to-face.
face-to-face, and you want to make them available offline.
Yeah, we advertise some of our continuing ed classes as completely mobile.
Yeah,
We've got a
Yeah.
4-hour stop class. There's a co-parenting class, and
Okay, I think last just reminds you.
it does, the co-parenting class does actually remind me, because one of the things that we had, been given was some sample courses, one of which was co-parenting. And I just wanted to, quickly show you, I imported that for you so that you can see it in Snap. Of course, doing it live doesn't make any, there's no big reveal, because it's like here, it looks just like, you know.
yeah,
So the only thing that I did to this course after I imported it was I went to the topics options and I allowed all the topics to be visible on the page rather than have one topic at a time, just so you could see the table of contents. But this,
it was a different course. This is an English course. It would have been maybe one of the other imported
yeah,
courses.
there were like 4 or something
Oh, okay.
that were provided. So I chose the first one, I think, in the list, and that's this one. But,
So I think the co-parenting course also utilized the PLD.
oh, really? Because I looked in this one to see like, oh, did they have any PLD rules? No PLD.
No,
in this
that one didn't.
Yeah, but you'll see, we imported this. You know, we're still surfacing that information for the student in there. You know, we have, again, I think it's just more or less just like what you'd expect from what we've seen so far today in terms of the items that are presented and how they're laid out and so forth.
So before we leave mobile, we'd love to have that discussion with you guys. And I think we can do some really great things there. And our engagement goes once again on the spectrum. We have a mobile school, like sometimes it's ahead of mobile, right? So the institution, my job is to understand how all aspects of the institution relate to the mobile experience. And sometimes it's the SIS, sometimes it's courseware, sometimes it's the LMS, sometimes it's like being part of community campus, sometimes it's door access. Like we do the transact business, which is all your door access and student cards and stuff. So sometimes it's the RFID from the phones, buying their lunch, getting into a game, or taking attendance at the door of the classroom, or we do all that kind of stuff. So our company's approach to mobile goes from everything from student life, teaching and learning, to actually some of our other products as well. So if you guys, as you guys consider the role mobile plays in your selection for this piece of your technology ecosystem, we'd love to have that discussion and see if there's other areas as well, like how this would play into those areas. Maybe put you in communication with people that have started to establish a mobile strategy so that they can manage change down into instructional designers, deans, faculty, students. So you can drive a consistent, high quality mobile experience for this or for anything. So we'd be happy to help in the conversation and connect with people that have, approach this you guys want to hear, or are where you guys are right now in the process of saying, maybe somebody will own it, or it's really important to us that it's going to be part of our selection, and it's kind of part of strategic planning. Yeah, it's something that comes up a lot. I think a larger percentage of interactions with our technology are mobile than non-mobile, not just the learning management systems across our technology. I think that tip was like 2 or 3 years ago, where we got more hits from mobile devices than from non-mobile. Traditionally, people use a computer.
Yeah, we were, I would say about 2-3 years ago is when we started really looking at the mobile app, and not looking at Moodlerooms' mobile app, but the official
Yeah, the Moodle
app.
app.
And frankly, I was disappointed how many times I was redirected to the website.
Me too. When it first came out,
Yeah.
it was not ideal. It has improved greatly. So it's something that I can now use for my dual courses when I'm working with my demo courses and so forth. The desktop is new, so that's something that Moodle.org just released, I think last year.
Is that
Yeah.
Mac only?
No, I don't believe so. I
They have
have,
it for Surface and the Windows.
Yeah.
It's in Windows Store
Windows
too?
Store because,
Okay.
because it was for things that the app couldn't communicate with. So Surface tablets, because that's like a real computer. It's not actually really like a mobile. And it's on the App Store. Mac Store, yeah, Mac Store. But yeah, so there's, we have not, because it's not a Moodlerooms tool, it's a Moodle org tool.
Okay.
We don't have specific documentation for that on our website. The Moodle desktop documentation is on the Moodle Docs website, but there's a little blurb about what all it can do and so forth. But again, it's really basically just the app on your computer.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have probably seen this. Windows does a good job of it now, but the next version of Mac OS will run App Store apps. You go to
Wow,
iPad apps. Yeah, well, they officially are teasing it. So iPad apps will run like a Windows Surface or Xbox will run on your Windows machine. Mac's trying to take all of their phone and tablet apps and make them run natively in any Mac device. So that speaks to the fact that even people like Apple are understanding that mobile has to be.
It all has to be one
experience.
ecosystem. Well, I'm aware that we're over our allotted time and I don't want to keep you from your lunch. So let us know if questions arise after. I appreciate your attention and your candid feedback to us. It's very valuable as we work to be the best possible partner for you. I hope it's been helpful to you to hear about this. And again, I apologize that I'm not the technical resource that you were, you might have been hoping for today, but I do my best. And we'll reconvene at noon for the next round of demo and Q&A session.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you guys recommend where we should eat the next 30
Yeah,
minutes?
where can we get something to eat in like 20 minutes?